So, I want to talk about something that I was thinking about all day today. And we've all met these people, and some of you are this person, or some of you used to be this person. Many CBF members were this, and now they're not. But I want to talk to you about people who call themselves a serial entrepreneur, right? And that sounds like a compliment, right? Oh, I'm a serial entrepreneur because I have 5 businesses, right? And so it kind of sounds like a compliment, but the truth is most of those people, I'm going to say 99.9% of those people aren't serial entrepreneurs. What are they? They're serial quitters. They just don't look at it that way. They just don't look at it that way. So are you a serial entrepreneur or are you a serial quitter? It's a hard and a bitter truth, but truth is what sets you free, not lying to yourself, not looking in the mirror and telling yourself lies. Telling yourself the truth is what will set you free. So, I'm going to just give you my opinion and my philosophy around serial quitters versus serial entrepreneurs. A serial entrepreneur sticks with one single focused business long enough to be highly successful. And there's a difference between moderately successful or an average level of success and extreme level of success, right? So I think we can all agree that Richard Branson, who has over 400 companies, is not a serial quitter because he's highly successful in all of his companies. And so he's not a serial quitter. But most of the people you meet that have 5 businesses, 4 businesses, 3 businesses. Not too long ago, I heard about a guy, I can't remember who told me about this person. I think it was Alex Hormozy when we were talking. Uh, and he said somebody he was coaching years ago was talking about all the businesses he owned. And Alex challenged him and said, "Well, how many businesses do you own?" And he said, "I'm not sure. Let me pull up my spreadsheet." Well, that's a bad sign, right? And Alex was like, "Uh-oh, here we go." And I don't remember the exact number, but I think it was something like 14 businesses. Now, that's the biggest extreme I've heard because he was not successful in any of them. So he's really not a serial entrepreneur. He's a serial quitter. In other words, he starts a business, he gets it so far, the business gets hard, right? It's what you call switching lanes. It doesn't mean you closed your business or you sold your business because serial entrepreneurs, or what I call serial quitters, couldn't sell their business. Nobody would want it. They never got it to that level of success where it's self-running and highly profitable, right? That's the only time you should ever start a second business is the one you started, you stuck with it. You stayed so focused that you got it to the level you always wanted to. In other words, you reached your goal. Maybe it was to get it to 2 million or 5 million or 10 million, right? You reached your goal for profit and scale and size and time commitment, right? So it's rare to see an entrepreneur who starts another business that's reached all of their goals for the first one. Because the biggest problem is they keep switching lanes. They're not really succeeding at lane one. And I think the biggest problem is well, number one, it's a lack of focus. But when you start a business, at first it's extremely exciting. You have all this hope. You have this big vision that it's going to get to 5 million. It's going to be self-running and you'll just be sipping Mai Tais on the beach, right? It's like you had this vision. But then the problems show up, right? Hiring gets really hard. Customers start complaining about the staff that weren't properly trained. Your margins start getting tighter and tighter and tighter, meaning you make more money, but you keep less of it, right? Like I heard about a serial quitter slash entrepreneur recently talk about how she had struggled and struggled and struggled mainly to impress her peers to hit the $1 million mark, but she wasn't making any money. Okay, so your margins just got smaller and smaller and smaller, but your revenue got bigger and bigger and bigger. You're doing it wrong, right? Who wants to run a business like that? That's why people quit. That's why they stop growing their business and go, oh, maybe this other business is easier. So I'm going to start a landscaping company, or I'm going to start a power washing company, or I'm going to go be a realtor. That's like the number one thing I hear is when I get my cleaning business to a certain size, I'm going to go be a realtor. It's like, why? It's because you have such small beliefs in what your cleaning business can do. You actually think you can make more as a realtor. Well, maybe you can and maybe you can't. But my guess is if you don't stick with your cleaning business long enough to reach all the goals you set for yourself, you will also be that realtor like most of them out of the 2 million realtors in the United States. You'll be one of those realtors that also reaches a certain level and quits and goes and tries something else, maybe goes back to the cleaning business, right? And so things get hard, hiring gets hard, customers start complaining, training isn't really working well, profits are shrinking as you grow, your systems keep breaking because you don't really have proven systems, you just have made up ones that don't work. And instead of solving those problems one on one at a time, staying focused, sticking with it, instead of solving their problems, they start looking sideways. Oh, I think I'll go become a realtor. Oh, I think I'll start a short-term rental company. I'll start doing short-term rentals because that is different. Short-term rental is not residential year-round cleaning. Oh, I think I'll do organizing. I bet that pays better, right? Or I'm going to start a software company. Or you fill in the blanks. I think I'm going to go start a marketing firm. Or I can't make my cleaning business work, so I think I'll go be a coach. Right? It's like I keep seeing people hit a plateau in their business, they get stuck, it gets hard, they start making less money and working more, and they switch. They switch. They are accidentally becoming serial quitters. It's like, well, I decided to quit focusing on growing my cleaning business and grow my other thing, right? So it isn't that you decided to focus on another thing, it is that you got stuck and you quit trying. So here's the thing. Almost any successful entrepreneur will tell you this, who has reached the the top 5%. Like, I don't wanna be in the bottom 80%. I don't wanna be in the bottom 90%. I wanna be in the top 5%, right? My business does $4.2 million, and our goal for this year is 4.5 million, and by the end of 2028, I might or 2027, maybe 28, we wanna hit 5 million, right? Those are my goals. I'm not gonna go launch something else until I reach my goals. Now, in fairness, I've been retired for more than a dozen years, so I'm not the one running the company anymore, but I still have big goals for it. I'm not in the daily operations at all, not one little bit. I am just a coach and a mentor because that is what I do full time to my staff and my team, which is really all led by my COO. So I didn't switch businesses. I still have a highly successful residential cleaning business that runs itself, that increases in revenue every year instead of goes down, and increases profitability every year instead of going down. So I have reached all the goals I ever hoped to reach in my cleaning business, and I'm not done setting goals and reaching them. I just am doing it through staff instead of through me. So that enabled me, the success of my cleaning business enabled me to go find another lane, right? So I launched a nonprofit and I was heavily involved for over 10 years. And now it's 100% run by the ISSA organization, the nonprofit ISSA, and Cleaning for a Reason is led and headed up by my team, the team that runs it out of Chicago and Louisville, right? But I didn't neglect it till it was highly successful. Then I retired from it. I serve on the board of directors, but I'm not involved in the daily decision making or the hiring of the leaders in the nonprofit. And so that success and that freedom allowed me the time and the freedom to go launch my coaching business, which literally I started 20 years ago, right about the same time that I started Cleaning for a Reason. But I was able to launch my coaching business. I did it very slowly for the first 10 years. And then the last 10 years, I was full time in my coaching business, helping residential cleaning business owners all over the country. But here's the difference. I didn't have to quit or give up my business to be a coach. I didn't have to quit or stop growing my business to start my nonprofit. None of that happened Because if you stop growing the thing you have, your core bread and butter, and go switch to something else because you think the money will be bigger and the money will be easier, you will find out in short order the money isn't bigger and the money isn't easier. It's just another hard thing you're involved in. And if you don't give it usually good 10 years of your intentional focus, like almost nobody becomes a Mark Zuckerberg within a short period of time. He's wildly successful. Those things don't happen very often. I mean, even Jeff Bezos took him like 20 plus years to make a profit, right? But he had a big vision and he didn't go, well, this isn't working. Let me go start this other thing. Let me go start this other software company. No, he stayed on Amazon all the years it was unprofitable and he kept building it and tweaking it and solving problems. He didn't have a coach or a mentor in that space that could help him. He founded that space, right? He's the one that really started it. Almost nobody was ordering everything online from one platform, right? So, he stuck with it. Now, I'm sure he has other ventures now. I don't know what they are, but it's possible he doesn't. But you stick with something till it's successful, or all you are doing is switching lanes. And switching lanes is what stops your success in the primary thing that you were focused on, and then you're starting something else, and that's really hard, and it takes a while to ramp up, and it takes a while to figure out what you didn't know, and it takes a while for you to begin to make a profit and to attract customers and to figure out how to retain customers and all the things that are involved with starting a new business, whether it's real estate, software, or another version of cleaning like janitorial. And so don't be a serial quitter that's lying to yourself saying, oh no, I'm a serial entrepreneur. Because the truth is, you're probably not. And some of you, you needed to hear this tonight because you're already thinking about another lane. You're already thinking about another vertical while your own business, your residential cleaning business, is going backwards. It's in decline. And you've stopped problem solving and focusing on the most important things that moved you forward in the first place. That's another reason to attend CBF Live. If for no other reason, to get you re-inspired and re-motivated to grow the thing you have instead of go start some new thing you don't have that you know nothing about. Now, I'm not saying if you're wildly successful, even if you haven't reached every goal, but you're wildly successful, you can't also start another business. I mean, I did that with cleaning for a reason, right? I mean, even though it's a nonprofit, it is still a business, right? You start something from scratch and you run it like a business. It just doesn't profit the founder. I make nothing from cleaning for a reason, zero. In fact, it costs me money just to serve on the board, a lot. And so it doesn't mean you can't go and start something else, especially if it's truly a passion project. But if you start something else as a rescue project, which is what I see most business owners do. So a passion project is different from a rescue project. So please listen carefully. A rescue project is where you may not say this out loud, but it's true and you know it deep down, but you just aren't willing to admit it to yourself. A rescue project is, oh man, I don't make enough money over here at this cleaning business. These employees are driving me crazy. They keep quitting and nobody seems to train right. And man, my profits are crap and I make less than I used to. you know, Starting another business for you is a rescue project. And here's the problem. You will bring the same baggage and the same problems and the same dysfunctions that are happening in your cleaning business over to the next business you start. Now, that's a rescue project. A passion project is like cleaning for a reason, right? I started it, but it doesn't have to be a nonprofit. A passion project can be this other business you feel strong about and deeply passionate about, and you're willing to be patient and stay focused on your core business while building this in your spare time. So it doesn't have to be a nonprofit, but for me in particular, my passion project was my nonprofit. It was not my core bread and butter. I did not neglect my core business that paid my salary. Cleaning for a reason doesn't provide a salary, right? So I didn't allow my passion project, or in your case, it could have been a passion business. I didn't allow that to sabotage my success with my core business, right? I didn't allow it to take me backwards. And so that's the difference between a passion project and a rescue project. If you start another business because you don't make enough money in this one, if you start enough business because this business drives you crazy and you're feeling unsuccessful and you've got golden handcuffs, you can't even leave the business without things falling apart, right? I promise you, you'll bring the same baggage to the next business you start, right? So every business looks easy from the outside. Oh, I'm going to get my cleaning business to a certain size and then I'm going to be a realtor because that's easier. You make more money in less time. Every business looks easy from the outside. Every business looks messy from the inside. So this is the piece these serial quitters miss. Is once you go start another business because you're really rescuing instead of truly creating a passion project. Once you are inside the new business, it begins to look really messy too. Oh, wow, I didn't realize how expensive it was to acquire a client. Oh, wow, I didn't realize how expensive it is to hire software programmers. Oh, I'm running out of money. All this stuff. It looks much messier inside, but from the outside, it always looks easy. Looks like easy money, looks like the easy button. Business owners, entrepreneurs are notorious for chasing the easy button. That's why some people attend every conference, right? Instead of sticking to one model that will teach you how to get better and better at the model you've already followed, they attend every conference, every webinar, every free live event, every paid live event that they can get their hands on because they're chasing the easy button, right? And if you keep trying to chase the easy button, your life will never be easy. It'll never be easy. If you stay focused on one thing, and somebody said it to me the other day, and they said, you really can't serve two models. And it's true. So if you go learn from everybody out there and they all have a different business model, one buys cars and one uses teams and one pays hourly. And, it's like, yeah, but that's not your model. And so their advice will be very difficult for you to apply. In worst case scenario, you take advice, you apply it. It was the wrong advice and you go backwards. And so what I want to say is you have to look yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, do I keep starting new ventures, new verticals, new things because I'm really trying to rescue my life from this business that I've built that I don't love, that I don't enjoy, that I've lost my passion for. I'm no longer motivated. I'm highly frustrated. I'm not winning. I'm not attracting the best employees and growing. I'm hiring employees who aren't that great just to replace the last bad one that left, right? Do you see the difference? And if you just need a new dose of motivation and a new dose of inspiration and a whole set of solutions that actually work so that when you do work your head off, you make more money. And when you do work your head off, you begin to see results. And when you do work your head off, all of a sudden your business becomes easier. And all of a sudden you realize after staying focused and working really hard and not switching models, switching experts, switching businesses, switching verticals, over time you realize, wow, it's smoother. My business is calmer. It's way less messy than it used to be. I remember, now this lady sold her business years ago, but Rosemary Strader was in my program. And it took her years to join because she was doing the whole teams and cars and hourly pay, and it was just a train wreck. And she shared it publicly, so I'm not telling a secret. And she was unprofitable. She worked way too hard, her and her husband both, for way too little. And she finally joined CBF and followed the model to a T and shifted everything to the CBF model. Within a few short years, she said, I can't believe how much more profitable. And she said, we went from 90% chaos down to 10% chaos. Those were her words. Like the business was so chaotic because she did have a big staff. I think she had maybe 16 or maybe at a high point 18 or so. But she said it was so messy. It was so chaotic that implementing the CBF model within 2 or 3 months, she went from 90% chaos to 10% chaos. And I thought, well, I can live with that because any business that's basically run by people instead of run by widgets is going to have chaos, right? It's never going to be zero chaos, but it shouldn't be 90% chaos. That is miserable. And that's what causes people to switch. That's what causes people to quit trying. I'm not saying they sell their business or they close it. I'm saying they quit trying, right? So you it's the person you talk to that 3 years ago they were at a million and 3 years later they're at a million. And they say, "Oh, I chose to intentionally stop growing my business." No, you didn't. You gave up. There's a difference because you went and started something else that you thought would be easier, faster, more lucrative. And you only found out, man, this is hard too. And this is costing me a lot of money too. And this is costing me more time than I thought. Right. So then they go start another one and then another one till you end up like that guy that has 14 businesses. He couldn't even name them all. So, of course, Alex Hormozzi's advice to him was get rid of all of them except for 1 or 2 that are the most profitable, the easiest to run, that you know the most about, that you've invested the most in, and focus on those 2, and they will double and triple beyond the other 12 businesses you shouldn't be in. And the guy was like, "Duh, why didn't I think of that?" Here's why we don't think of these things on our own, and you need somebody like me nagging you and harping on you. Because number 1, we don't wanna hear it. We deeply want people to confirm our biases. That's why we surround ourselves with people who will confirm our biases. We want people to say, "Oh, that's a brilliant idea. You should do that. Customers will love it." We want people to say that. And the people who are more interested in your people who are more interested in being on your good side are gonna tell you what you want to hear, they will not tell you what you need to hear. Well, that's not the way I am, and neither is it with my coaches. We're gonna tell you what you need to hear. I can't tell you how many people I've coached over the years who've really reached a decent level of success, at least 1,000,000 to 2,000,000 or more, who are like, "I have a great idea, I just wanna run it by you, Debbie. I wanna start another location, but it's in another state." And I'm like, "Well, I know you don't wanna hear this because I think there's more vanity wrapped up in that, right? I have 2 locations. It's a vain, it's vanity." And I'm like, "You're only at 1,000,000 at this location, and it isn't fully dialed in. Your operations manager keeps churning. So, why don't you determine to get this business, the gold right under your feet? Why don't you spend more time and more effort and more focus and more problem solving on getting the $1,000,000 business to 2,000,000. You are not out in the country where the population is too small. You are in an extremely metropolitan area where you have more customers within a 10-mile radius than you could even imagine serving, and you haven't tried. Instead of trying to get this business to 2,000,000, you're over here wanting to open another business in San Diego or buy an existing business in San Diego or in Houston, Texas, or it's like, why? You live in this state, right? That's an airplane ride away, and you wanna add that level of distraction? Now, that's different than, "Hey, I think I'm gonna open up another territory that's 30 minutes drive further out than the territory I'm in." You're not going to another state. You're just opening another territory. So you may have to place one field manager over in that part of town and open up a little tiny small office, but you can still have a call center right there in your same state and in your same office. And it's like, before you think I'm going to franchise my maid service, I'm going to open up multiple locations in other states, before you think like that, because that's chasing a sparkly object. What are you, bored with the business you have? How about you fix that one? What are you, bored with the growth you have? How about you double that, right? I mean, the only reason to open another location outside of the area you serve is you truly have saturated your market. And I have yet to talk to a cleaning business owner that wanted to open a location an hour away, 3 hours away, or a state or 2 away. I've yet to talk to one who had truly saturated their market. It's like, tell me how much money you spend on marketing. Right? And then it's like some ridiculously low amount. I'm like, "Well, if you doubled your marketing in the town you're already serving, you would double your growth." Right? And so that's chasing a sparkly object. And I think it truly becomes vanity. "Look at me, I have 2 locations. Look at me, I have 3 locations. Never mind, I'm going broke. Never mind, I'm not making any money because location number 2 is so hard and difficult, and it's sucking the life out of me. It's taking up all my time, so now I'm neglecting my core business, and now my profits are shrinking, and my employees are turning over, and my culture is going down," right? "But I have 3 locations." What good are 3 broken locations? How about you have one highly profitable location? And if you're in a metropolitan area and you don't own your market, then go work on that. This is what I mean by not switching lanes, right? It's like me, I've stopped growing my business in Flower Mound and now I want to grow my business in Dallas. Well, if my business is really small in Flower Mound, then maybe I double my efforts right where I am at. This is what I say, mind the gold already under your feet. Mine the gold already under your feet. Most people are trying to mine the gold under somebody else's feet because they think they've tapped into all the gold they can possibly get out of their market. And I'm sorry, but if you only have 300 clients in a very well populated, proper demographic area that you serve, and you only have 300 clients, are you telling me you couldn't possibly find 300 more? You can't possibly get to 600 clients? And then if you can, how about 800? And then if you so it was when I shifted my mindset that if I can get to 300 clients, why is it impossible for me to get to 600? And that's when I had to look myself in the mirror and say, because you haven't tried. You haven't tried. And that's when I incentivized, motivated, empowered, and coached my self-managing team, how they can get our business to 600 clients. And then it wasn't long that they were setting their own goals to get to 700 and then 800 recurring clients and then 1,000 recurring clients. And now our goal is to get to 1,100 in about a year. So we'll see, right? So all I'm saying is we have to be honest with ourselves. We have to stop telling ourselves, I'm a serial entrepreneur, when we are possibly a serial quitter. You don't start another business till the one you are in is highly successful. And it isn't highly successful because it reached a million, because you might be paying yourself 30,000 a year, right? If you're paying yourself $30,000 a year, you have a very unsuccessful $1 million business. Or if you're paying yourself nothing because there's nothing left by the time you pay your operations manager, you pay bonuses, you pay for all the leadership team and all the supplies and all the things. If there's nothing left over, you don't have a successful business. So here's my advice to you. Number one, register for CBF Live, and we'll show you how to stick and focus on one thing. There's a book every one of you should read by now called The One Thing. And I think it's Herb Keller. Somebody can type it in and correct me. I think it's the Southwest Airlines guy, I think. The guy that started Southwest Airlines. Anyway, I believe the book author is Keller, and he started one of those businesses we all use. And his book is called The One Thing, and it is absolutely profound. And really, he's teaching this principle. Stick with one thing. Stop chasing sparkly objects. There is no easy button out there. You're not going to find the easy button at this conference or in this webinar or this course or this person. There is no easy button. All there is personal self discipline, focus, and problem solving. So I don't care how focused you are or how hard and you work and stick with it if you don't solve your problems. If you keep experiencing the same problem year after year, then go find somebody who will help you solve those problems. Go find somebody who's already solved those problems, like I have, like my coaches have, and learn from them. Right. So focus and determination isn't enough. It is the start. Focus and determination is one of the biggest parts of it. But don't keep doing the same thing over and over, year after year after year, staying stuck, going, I'm going to still try. Go solve the problem. Go find the expert who has solved the problem and learn from them. So cbflive.com, go get registered. If you haven't registered yet, so you're not already registered, but you are going to, I want you to type in going to. If you're like, oh yeah, I'm going to register, I just haven't done it yet. Type into the comments going to. If you've already registered, type in hashtag I'm going. That way I'll know who to bug and who to nag. So this was on my heart, right? Because I heard of another person who is starting another business out of the multiple businesses they have, and I have personal firsthand knowledge that none of the other businesses are very successful. And it's like, wow, you're killing yourself. You're killing your success. You're destroying your own opportunities. Stick with something. Stop switching lanes. Otherwise, you're going to end up looking in the mirror going, yeah, I am a serial quitter. Nobody wants to be that. All right, that's all I have. I know it's really, really late. And if you did not get notification via text that I was going live, you need to send me a text and send it to 41242 and then type in the keyword Debbie Live, one word. Don't let auto spell check break it into two. So Debbie Live is one word. That's the keyword. So type text me at 41242.